Well, honestly, man, I feel like you're living proof of it, brother. Like you're 100 and what is it, 128 episodes? Was that what you said? 100,
184. Yeah, it's
184. Wow. So I mean, look, you're doing it, brother. I mean, I feel like entrepreneurship opens the door for anybody, whether they have accessibility issues or not, man. I mean, this is literally the time, the era that there's nothing more beautiful than the internet because it allows you to reach so many people on such a broad spectrum, right? And entrepreneurship in general evens the playing field for everybody because if you have to get out and get around and put and send out mailers and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that can be kind of hard on people. But if you're able to reach out through, whether it's connections, whether it's, posting on social media, whether it's creating video content on YouTube, however you do it, creating your own website, like I'm sure you have a website where you host your blogs with your interviews. This is amazing, man. And I feel like, honest to God, anybody has a shot right now to follow their dreams and make whatever they want to happen in their life happen. It's all about taking affirmative action and taking imperfect action, right? Because there's this awesome saying, right? You don't have to, or what is it? You don't have to be great to start, but you do have to start to be great, right? And that's a
absolutely, yeah.
really, really powerful saying. And that goes for everybody, man. I mean, I feel like, the internet is in no way at all, you know, it doesn't hold anybody back, man. It leaves the door open for everybody to come in and take their shot. And I feel like no matter what you want to do, if you want to run a YouTube channel, if you want to build a Facebook group and build a massive community around your brand, if you wanted to go right now and start your own clothing line, you can do that, man. You can do it right from the comfort of your own home on your computer. And you can just build this massive brand and this massive following around your brand. Anyone can do it. The problem is a lot of people don't have the willpower to take action. That's what it all comes down to, my friend. But inclusion is definitely not an issue with the internet.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think the amazing thing about digital marketing is that it doesn't require much to set up. With a very small budget, you can create a website, create content on your iPhone, develop graphics on sites like Canva, create a WordPress blog. And there's so many different ways to engage with very low setup costs. I think it opens up it kind of democratizes the ability to start a business for anyone.
That's an area that I'm very familiar with. My background, my dad was what we would call growing up a special education teacher in my high school for 25 years. And just the model of education, of tailoring it to everyone's needs to help them be more successful, is something we can apply to businesses. And I think the big reason to push for that kind of individualization and focus on everyone's talents and uniqueness is that a business with more diversity, more inclusion, gives you more experiences for people to draw from to make your business better. It eliminates blind spots that a business can have if you have too many people from the same background, from the same life challenges. And so if a business can focus on including more people that have been through more, it makes the business stronger, because now you've got people that know what it's like to deal with challenges, that know, oh, hey, we're facing this issue as a business. You know what? I've dealt with something similar over here in my life. And what if we apply that scenario to it? You see that the strongest businesses, the strongest organizations are the ones that have people from the most broad spectrum of experience and life. And that's the kind of robustness you want to build into a business from the get-go. So if you can pull as many people like that in, it just makes everybody better.
First of all, I think you're doing an absolute incredible job with everything you're doing in order to move that agenda and move the needle forward there. Second,
Well, thank you.
Of course, my pleasure. And that's genuinely heartfelt. The answer that I would have, and it's not really an answer as it is an observation through working with over 1,000 different people, whether it's a disability, whether it's a learning impairment, whether it's personal challenges that they've gone through, right? And I I stepped away from that word a bit of disability, because I believe that instead we're all differently abled, right? We're not disabled, we're differently abled. And when I say that from a place of every single person listening to this right now, you listening, you have something about you that is unique. And I want you to think about it right now, because you know what this is. You know this thing about you that you've been great at since you were a child. Something that you might have even gotten in trouble for when you were younger. Something that has always come easily to you. Something that you could ask your friend, hey, what is it that you like about me? What is it about me that's special? It might be, well, Kevin, you're a great listener. Well, Kevin, you're a compassionate individual. Kevin, you care. You're a great speaker. You're a great listener. You ask great questions. You're a great problem solver. You're great with building relationships. We all have one thing, maybe two or even three things, but one thing especially that we're exceptionally good at. Whether you are disabled, differently abled, a learning impairment. A lot of people that I've worked with have said to me, Brandon, I have ADHD. And a lot of those individuals say, that ADHD is my superpower. If I didn't have that, I wouldn't have accomplished the things that I've accomplished in my life. So to answer your question in a nutshell, every person out there, regardless of background, regardless of ethnicity, regardless of their place in society or their disabilities, everybody is valuable in some way. And from a place of employment, you have to, as a leader, as a manager, place these individuals in a role that brings out this shining light in this individual. Like for you, I would never have you in a role where you weren't speaking with people and bringing out the good in people and bringing out answers in people and hope in people that they didn't even know that they had inside, because that's a strength that you have yourself through the years of experience that you've done this. But I can guarantee, Kevin, would you agree when I say a part of what you do has always been with you since you were a young child?
Well, yeah, to add to that, I'll simply say this. When I talk to employers about infusing people with disabilities in the workforce, I told them that there's no 50% off policy when you have a disability, right? You can't wake up one day and get 50% off having a disability. So for me, it's been a lifelong journey of inclusion as the gateway to independence, because I think when you give people with a disability a job, you provide them with not only a financial independence and security, but you also provide them with a sense of belonging and inclusion in societal life, which I think is important when we talk about moving forward the discussion on discourse in society.
Well said. Yep, brilliantly said. And when you put these individuals and include them in a role where their skills are highlighted, that is where that person will shine. That is where they'll be challenged. And that is where they will find the most fulfillment in their work.
That is such a great question. And I think that, it goes beyond, just saying it. There's some actionable steps that organizations can take. And I think that first actionable step is you want to create, a aspirational narrative around, inclusivity, around diversity, around equity. So if your organization, wants to challenge that and take that on as a value within your organization, you got to document it. You got to put it down. You got to make sure that it's available for people to access so that they can see the company's committed to this. So once that commitment is made, then it's all the different steps that come after that. It's, creating a hiring strategy that includes those that, may be disabled, or, maybe not necessarily have college educations, but there's opportunities within the organization that they can, take advantage of that don't require a college education. There's so many different strategies that could be deployed from a hiring perspective that allow employers to get access to candidates that they wouldn't have normally considered, of being a good fit for their organization. That's a few of the things that you can do, but, also making sure that your environments, are set up properly for those who might have, a disability. making sure that your policies speak to everyone, who might fall under a particular policy. So your HR policies also have to be written in a way that shows that you recognize that there are differences within your workforce. And then lastly, I think it's also making sure that when you're communicating with your people, that you're providing, accessibility and accommodations when needed and necessary to make sure that everyone can hear your message and everyone can be a part of the conversation.